Now, International Relations Minister Naledi Pandor says plans to repatriate South Africans stranded abroad are being worked on. Many countries across the world are on lockdown to combat the spread of COVID-19. International flights have largely been barred from operating.
Recent data that we have available to us suggests that we may have around 1,471 South Africans stranded in various ways in difficult circumstances in different countries across the world. Of this number, 723 are students, 204 are persons who work or are employed in countries overseas, 224 are tourists, and there are 320 who haven't told us what status they have, but they indicate they wish to return. I'm not sure that we've fully gathered all the data as yet, because these are persons who've approached our missions and whose data we have recorded.
Transport Minister Fikile Mbalula further elaborated on procedures.
All international and domestic passenger flights are still prohibited, irrespective of the risk category of the country of origin, except those flights especially authorized by the Ministry of Transport for the evacuation of South African nationals in foreign countries. With regard to the repatriations of foreign nationals from South Africa back to their respective countries is allowed, provided the following conditions are adhered to. 1, foreign countries must charter their aircraft to South Africa without passengers except with the crew. 2, the crew is not allowed to disembark. Evacuations are as follows. The evacuation of South African citizens who desire to come back home is allowed, provided 1, he or she has a fully paid return flight ticket. 2, on arrival, they will be subjected to mandatory quarantine for a period of up to 21 days. And 3, the crew shall be allowed to disembark subject to mandatory quarantine laws as may be applicable. Now, I need to explain to you that the National Command Council on Coronavirus agreed on this after the Department of Transport together with DERCO have actually made submissions and agreed on this, and the process through the National Joint Operations. And so you will understand that this is based on the implementation of the regulations post the lockdown and the challenges that were faced since then. And part of those challenges involved South Africans who, when the lockdown was implemented, they got stranded in foreign countries on their way back home. And their airlines coming to South Africa were cancelled. Now, you do have South Africans who've got the capacity to repatriate themselves to come back home, or with the support of the airlines to come back home. So this is not a normal operation. South Africans only will be allowed to actually come back home, and not a normal process of airlines coming in and out in the Republic. So the lockdown stand. So we cater for South Africans who want to come back home, who are stranded and assisted by the airlines to come back home. As you will know, that the regulations and the directives post the lockdown are very clear that we don't allow airlines coming from outside to South Africa, either from risk countries or low risk countries. We don't allow it, they are prohibited.